President Ilves, distinguished guests, it's a pleasure for me to be here. I'll try to give you a brief overview of the initiative on cloud, the cloud strategy for Europe, normally associated to three pillars, one addressing the aspects of standards, the other one addressing the aspects of safe and fair contracts, and the other one associated to what we call the European Cloud Partnership. Let me just say that one of our main focus is really this perception that when we talk about cloud, in particular in cloud, I think that when we think about an European company that is able to produce and provide and deliver cloud services, we are looking to an environment that ideally will be the internal market, the 28 member states. And obviously when we come to procurement, this is also one of our assumptions a priori. And therefore, our strategy focused very much in trying to overcome some of the limitations, some of the fragmentation that exists today in national legal frameworks, for example, in terms of data protection, in terms of contracts, consumer protection, even in terms of criminal law. And all what we are doing is trying to overcome those aspects to make the cloud market flourish in Europe. Let me just say two or three things about each one of those topics. On standards is particularly important because the standardization is a crucial element to ensure that we promote interoperability and that we strengthen to a large extent the confidence that we have in the cloud services. They are essentially when we think about seamless communications, when we think about, for example, data portability, and in this respect they will avoid the customer lock-in situations and will promote competition. It's also very important that we assess the aspects of certification and in particular the aspects of voluntary certification schemes. Some of them already exist and others are emerging and we are helping them to emerge to really focus on the cloud services. For us and for the consumers in general, the ability to verify that the service provider has implemented the appropriate technical but also organizational in particular aspects, for example, of security and data protection, measures are very, very important. Also in contracts, particularly when we talk about small and medium enterprises, it's very important that the contracts will help in ensuring that we have a transparent and fair market and aspects, again, of data access, portability, protection of personal data, protection against, for example, cyber attacks, and liabilities in case of damage are particularly important in this context. So here you get three reasons why in our cloud strategy we are looking in particular to standards, to certification and to contracts. But one key element in our strategy was the creation of this so-called European Cloud Partnership that has two important, I would say, parts. One, a steering board, and President Ilves gives us the honor to lead this steering board. The other one, an opportunity to work in terms of the public procurement in Europe. When we think about the steering board, we are very glad that in this steering board we have not just the representation of the member states, but also of the private entities that somehow create this dynamic between public and private, this partnership, this European Cloud Partnership, to discuss matters that could be of interest not just for the public sector, but also for the promotion of cloud in the market in general. I will not talk a lot about the steering boards, but I think that this group has been really playing a very important, a very crucial role in creating better conditions for cloud in Europe. We have there represented, as I said, key market actors, key private sector actors, and also the public authorities. And the discussions under the leadership of President Ilves have turned to be very, very important. In particular, after the last meeting that took place in Tallinn on the 4th of July, coincidental with the post-PRISM era, the discussions were very, very important and focused, for example, in the importance of creating an European data area, a sharing data area. those aspects that I suppose that President Ilves will address are crucial for us in Europe. But let me focus a little bit on our efforts to promote the take-up and the adoption of cloud by the public sector. In fact, we have one arm of the European Cloud Partnership that looks in particular in the procurement aspects for public authorities. We launched this project called Cloud for Europe. Our idea is that through this project that brings together 11 member states, we'll be able to drive the first steps towards a better public procurement of cloud services in Europe. And this is obviously exploiting the power of common definition of requirements on the demand side from the public procurers in liaison with the supply side, i.e. the cloud service providers. We believe that this will make potentially the public sector more effective, i.e. we'll expect that we can save money, that we can do more with less, and that we can also stimulate the emergence of an European cloud industry. Eventually, we could reach the point where we could go as far as going to a joint procurement across borders. But the time will let us know. We have great expectations in this activity that is just launched, and I take the opportunity to announce that the first public event of launching of this Cloud for Europe project is taking place very shortly, mid of November in Berlin. We think that the take-up of cloud computing by the public sector in Europe will benefit very much from the dissemination of the best practices, and it is precisely these best practices that are expected to be one of the results of the pre-commercial procurement that Cloud for Europe initiative is taking on board. Let me make a short reference also to the fact that in the recent conclusions of the European Council of October, cloud features very prominently. The heads of state and government actually confirm the importance they attach to cloud computing as an enabler for the economy, for the productivity, and for better services to our citizens. But they went further. They stated that cloud computing should improve access to data and simplify the sharing of this data. They also welcome that we make all the efforts to provide the right framework conditions for a single market for cloud computing in Europe. They, in particular, focus on the importance of high standards for secure, high quality and reliable cloud services, and on the promotion of those standards. And interesting enough, they come to specifically note the very valuable work that the European Cloud Partnership has done so far, encouraging the Commission and the Member States, with the support of this European Cloud Partnership precisely, to continue to make every effort to put Europe at the forefront of the cloud adoption. Interesting enough, the European Council conclusions bring together not just cloud, but cloud, open and big data. And this is very interesting because we have here three elements that are distinctive factors coming out of the so-called internet economy. And I think that when we realize the importance of internet economy up to now, we will realize it even further if you think about cloud, open and big data. Very, very important. We are also in the verge of starting the Horizon 2020 program. And again, you will see there our commitment towards cloud in two types of activities. One, promoting further research, but also trying to promote innovation. You will see that we'll use instruments like PCP, public procurement for pre-competitive public procurement, but also procurement of innovative solutions. Those are mechanisms that we started exploiting in the Framework Programme 7, but it will really will flourish more in the Horizon 2020. By allocating budget to these activities in the ICT part of the Horizon 2020, what we want is not just to promote and support the cloud adoption in the public sector, is also to try to promote the innovation in the market in general, and therefore strengthening the position of European actors in the global market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mario. So as you heard, President Ilves